All right, we're back on the death lineup just minutes after the Lakers beat the Warriors in game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. And was that about how you thought the game was going to go?
Yes. I thought they were going to lose game 1, and I blamed it on the short rest from not closing out game 6. So they had to play a game 7. Steph only plays 37 minutes in game 7, but still, it's just having to play that extra game on the road, and then only a day rest between the two series. Like, this was just, I think it was lining up for a Lakers game 1 win, which sucks because it was at home for the Warriors, but the Warriors have proven they took 2 at Sac. I think they could take take a few more at good old Staples or Crypto. Sorry, but no, I think this game. I don't know if maybe the play-by-play stuff went exactly as I thought it would, but I think the final score and maybe some of the majority of the stuff went the way I thought it would, which I'll hold on to because I know we're going to get into later.
Yeah, I would say, if you're looking at this from a glass half full perspective, the way that the first quarter goes is kind of what you're hoping for. The Warriors hitting threes, they're keeping the pace up. Lakers are having a lot of Anthony Davis usage, and then you go, okay, if the game continues like this, then it's probably going to be a pretty good game, and the Warriors are going to be in it. But in the third quarter, they slowed the pace down for whatever reason, and I'm going to guess that the reason that Steph doesn't play the way the minutes that we thought he was going to play is because Kerr is looking at this thing as a 7-game series rather than a first game or game 1. And we had the same frustration with Kerr in the Sacramento series, and then lo and behold, the way that he does it works. So hard to get critical of him, knowing that.
Well, can I
knowing
add something there?
what he's doing. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is something that I think we both know about Steve Kerr, which is something that I never actually put to words, but when someone said it, I was like, "Oh my God, you're so right." Steve Kerr isn't a coach to make those types of big adjustments in the game in a playoff series. It's more so, okay, take it in one game, make the adjustments for the next game. But it's not like, okay, I see the issue here, let's fix it now. Let's put in Jonathan Kuminga, now. But it's more so like, okay, I've gathered the data. Let's see what, and I'll put together a better game plan for game 2. But that stuff doesn't happen in game from him.
Well, I think it's a trust in their entire defensive their entire coaching staff, which is, we're going to prepare, and we're going to prepare in a way where nothing is really going to surprise us, and here is our strategy, and here's what we're going to do. And it's really not in the wheelhouse to play Kuminga as much as we know how this series is going to go. Now, based on what you saw, he went to JaMychal Green for a little bit, couple 3-pointers, but JaMychal Green wasn't going to do much against Anthony Davis either. But what adjustments do you think that Steve Kerr could have had in this game? Because what he did, for the most part, I mean, if you want to be really hard on him, he probably stayed with Looney a little bit too long, and it took him to go down 14 points to go small, which is their trigger, right? That's their trigger for when the game's not going well. And Steve, for whatever reason, waited forever and also kept Steph on the bench forever. So he's playing the long game here. But what else do you think he could have done?
I think that, with the King series, there came a point where it was like, okay, we just got to put Draymond on De'Aaron Fox. I think that point happened with Draymond on AD in the fourth quarter in this game, and I think it needed to happen sooner. But in terms of adjustments, he just didn't make at all. I think Kuminga, that's not the adjustment that's going to save them a game. But I mean, you look at the free throw count, I think it's pretty. I can't actually. What's the exact number here?
I can't even find a box score. I don't think the box score is ready yet. We went too quick We went too quick. At least the Warriors website didn't have a box score, but I'm going to NBA.com and I could find
Yeah,
the box score there.
okay. So it was 29-6. Like,
You talking about the free throws?
that's a pretty crazy differential. And
Yeah.
I know that some of it makes sense. It's like, okay, the Warriors aren't driving it into the paint as much because they're afraid of Anthony Davis. Therefore, they're not going to go to the line as much. But I think the amount of times that the Lakers did, and again, you could probably justify that pretty easily by just saying, like, oh, well, the Lakers' majority of their points came from inside. I get it. But I think that number is just too big of a wide gap. And when I just say I could go to game charts here. I had it, lost it. If I go to game charts and I look in points in the paint, it is Golden State 28, LA 54.
Mm-hmm.
That's about half, right? That's maybe the Warriors had like about half of what the Lakers had. And the free throws, I feel like, just don't replicate that, you know?
So one of the things that I think that they could do, and I don't know if this is an in-game adjustment, but attack Davis in ISO. I know he's really good in pick and roll, but when you put the pressure on him and he's moving backwards, he's not as good as when he can just sit there in the middle of the paint and look at shots to block, right? Like that's one thing. He wasn't on his heels at all in this game. And neither was LeBron for that reason. You can put LeBron in the same movements and tire him out as well. I think attacking Davis and giving him different looks. I mean, look, the guy is he is an incredible player. He's the perfect 2023 center. His problem is he gets hurt a lot. And so if that is his problem and you're not putting him in action all over the court, then you're actually giving him a break. And I think that's one thing that they can switch. They were so it's like they wanted to hand Anthony Davis like all the awards, like we're not even going to try. And you saw Steph.
You can't guard that guy like Sabonis. They guarded him like Sabonis. They
Well,
gave him all those mid ranges.
I'm not even talking about on offense. Like on offense, I kind of get it because you want him to be high usage, right? Because the more high usage he is, then maybe the less energy he has on the other side. But I'm talking about on defense because they weren't jumping into him. They weren't jumping at him. They weren't pump faking and going at him. So he doesn't even really have to jump. He doesn't have to expend any energy on the defensive side because they're kind of playing right into his hands. It's like it's more about the fear of Davis than the reality of Davis. And then, Steph is changing shots and trying to throw passes in midair. And it's just like, how about you just try and draw foul? That could happen. Anthony Davis will foul people too. So that's something that I hope that they're going to switch up. I hope that they attack him a little bit more. I hope they go more into his body and more into LeBron's body because they were very catering towards those guys, and pretty interesting decision as far as I'm concerned because they had, like you said, they're home, and you want to go for the kill like immediately at home. But our friend Albert is watching us, and he had a comment. AR for president. Austin Reeves, he was okay. He didn't have a fantastic game, but you know what he is? He is sort of the guy who he's like the adult in the room, even though he's like the youngest guy on the court almost. Like he's just like, okay, I'm gonna dribble, I'm gonna hand it off to the right guy, I'll pull it back out. If I'm wide open, I'm gonna hit a three. Like he's sort of a calming presence on the court for them. And the Warriors didn't really take advantage of anything with him. He was just out there. He was hitting a couple open shots, draw a couple fouls, and it's almost like he's not even on the court. But at the same time, you trust him shooting over Vanderbilt. You trust him shooting over Schroeder. Pretty interesting, pretty cool guy to have on the court there. So that was Albert's comment about Austin Reeves. It looks like Brian's Wi-Fi is kind of wacky here, so we may have to wait out his Wi-Fi getting set back up. Oh, there you go. We're back, or at least the face is back. Okay, so let's go to our major takeaways here. My major takeaway for this game is I think they're going to have to go much smaller quicker than we realized. And so you're gonna have to have Wiggins at the 4. You saw Wiggins battling, rebounding. He's there. He's wanting to play to grab boards. Draymond at the center. He's gonna pick up more fouls like he did tonight. Though so funny because he was crowing about that one foul, and the announcers kept thinking that he thought that Anthony Davis was the person who fouled, and what he was complaining about was Schroeder hooked him on the screen, and that was the complaint. And unfortunately, for Draymond, he then got the T and everything, so he's just got to watch out. And there goes Bry's video again. So actually, while we wait for Bry to get back, I'll go with another takeaway. I feel like we can't really put anything on Jordan Poole tonight. I thought, defensively, of course, he's just bad. But offensively, I don't know if you could really put anything on Poole. I thought Poole played an excellent game. My worry is that he's not going to be able to play at that level for 7 games. And so whatever we got from Poole, whatever the Warriors got from Poole tonight, I'm not sure they can rely on that because he's been so up and down. So I'm just wondering if they can find some points some other ways, whether it's Clay, whether it's Wiggins, because I don't think Jordan's going to give them what he gave them tonight every game. I don't know what you heard about what I was saying.
I might lag out here, but I think the Lakers. It's been said on like multiple podcasts and on the broadcast that like they're just selling out for like Steph and Clay to shoot.
Yeah,
I might be. They're just the Lakers are just selling out for Steph and Clay to shoot, so it's leaving one man open. And not to say Jordan's going to replicate tonight, but I think there's a way where he can put up pretty good production in this series if they're just going to leave him.
But does he become a little bit more of a bullseye for them? And maybe if so, maybe that opens up something for others. But Clay wasn't bad today. He actually caught fire in a couple moments, and he and Jordan, I think, were the only two who were positive in the plus minus. Clay was a +1, Jordan was a +7. So he was okay, but still. This brother was 9 for 25 shooting. Like he and Steph combined were 19 of 51 shooting. Their 3-point, the way that the Warriors stayed in the game is collectively, Clay, Steph, and Jordan were 18 for 40 from 3, so almost 50% for all those guys. That's the way that they stayed in. Clay didn't play terrible, but he's not efficient enough, and it's just so many possessions that end with one shot with 10 seconds left on the shot clock, and they don't get anything and rebound, and the other team goes back. What is a takeaway for you?
Takeaway. Man, I had one before my Wi-Fi started bugging.
Your Wi-Fi's bugging, and my green screen is all jacked up.
It's been bad for like the past couple days, and I saw there were some outages in SF. But yeah, my stream for the game was skipping steps in the fourth quarter of all quarters. Man, takeaway. I had one. I think the takeaway, I don't know if you said this a little bit earlier, but I saw Marcus Thompson tweeted it too, where it's AD versus what they think versus reality.
Mm-hmm.
And AD is not like the best shot blocker in the league. He's not Gobert, or like the respect they're giving him, like they gave like Rob Williams in the finals and Gobert in years past. Like he's really good. He's a very good defender, one of the better ones in the league, probably a top, 10, probably top 10 rim protector, I feel like. But you can't just not go at him when he's in the game, when he's not in the game. And I
And
think we're going to see.
how do you change the looks though, right? Because it looks, I mean, the Lakers got to watch Game 7, and you got to you got to see how Steph was scoring on the Kings. It was a lot of floaters and finger rolls and mid range, and he basically timed that stuff perfectly. Like Steph could not get a shot off in the paint because Davis had it figured out already. Now,
Yeah,
the other part that I'm saying that they need to do is, maybe you need to instead of getting the rebound and pump faking and passing out, maybe you need to try and draw fouls. Uh, Anthony here, who's a big time reason why BSPN has a Discord and we have a fight game Discord. He says, "Don't apologize for calling it Staples." Staples is also the Warriors' kryptonite, though, right? Like Steph, for whatever reason, can't shoot there. And that, you say, they can win one in Staples. They haven't been great in Staples in history. So Staples front slash crypto. But yeah, Ant is in our Discord, actually, not in the BSPN Discord, but in the Fight Game Media Discord. It was me, Ant, and Salty Scott. They're both Laker fans, so I was going at them. They were going at me 2 against 1. But
it might.
so
I don't know if this is like necessarily. Well, I guess a takeaway from this game. Yeah, great Jordan Poole game. Was he team high plus minus?
yeah,
Plus
plus
7 or
7.
something. Yeah, it was plus 7. Good job, Jordan. After all the flack he's been getting.
Well, good
I
job,
kind of heard a
Jordan.
little bit of your spiel. Did you hear my spiel at all, or did I completely lag out?
I think you lagged out completely.
Completely lagged out. I was saying that the Lakers were like selling out for either Steph or Clay, so it was giving that third guard, because if they're playing with 2 non-shooters and
Yeah.
Draymond and Looney,
And
and the Lakers are just selling out for Steph and Clay, then that third guy is just going to be the X factor every time, whoever that third guy is. If it's going to be Poole, if Moody's going to be wide open for catch and shoot, Dante DiVincenzo, whatever. I thought Poole took advantage of that opportunity today. And I just think that opportunity is going to present itself more. Now, will he hit the shots? I feel like he might, but maybe not. Maybe tonight was, the best game. But I just think that third guard, when they're selling out for Steph and Clay and they got 2 non-shooters on the court, I think that's always going to be a pretty good look.
And
Wiggins didn't really shoot well tonight, but that guy, whoever's in that spot, might have a easier time.
And Anthony also made that point before the game started. He said he thought that they may go back to Poole and Draymond to the bench just for the spacing. And I'm not saying that would have worked. The lineup that worked tonight was Looney on the bench, and they went fast 5. But they may have to do that. They are not against changing the starting lineup, as we know.
Yeah, I find it hard for Draymond to be like open about going to the bench, especially against these guys. I think he should.
Looney will, right? Looney.
No, but I
Looney
think it should be Draymond. And no diss to Dre, but I think it should be Draymond just because Looney, we need rebounds in that starting lineup. That's you know what, that fast 5 was probably, I bet you if I run the lineup numbers, that was probably the best lineup tonight, along with that starting lineup. But I just think that if you match up their starting lineup to the Warriors starting lineup, and that, knowing what we know now, like, I think it's kind of a difficult type of like matching them up person to person on who the Warriors should guard for the Lakers, in the sense of like, I think Draymond needs to guard Anthony Davis when he's in. Like, I thought that, him playing the weak side, leaving Vanderbilt open for threes worked to an extent, but when Anthony Davis is just, doing what he did tonight, and I don't see what they could do differently from Looney guarding him to slow Anthony Davis down. Maybe it's just more doubles earlier, but I think Draymond played him pretty well, played him pretty straight up when he got the opportunity to. And if you're playing Draymond straight up on Anthony Davis, then that might be the move. But I think what Looney brings on the rebounding side is just gave them a lot more opportunities tonight, and I think that's just so valuable. They're still allowed to go to the bench to start the game.
Albert also mentioned playing zone the whole game. They definitely probably went to the zone a little too late. They could have used it to help them, get get in and get some breaths on defense, especially. But yet the other thing, now Laker fans, I don't know how they felt about how LeBron played, but he is not going to be this pedestrian. 22 and 11. He also shot pretty terribly, 9 of 24. They were giving him everything, 1 of 8 from 3. I don't think he's going to shoot that poorly for this entire series, especially as it goes back to crypto. That's another thing, is you kind of got a break in that LeBron didn't have a fantastic game. Anthony Davis did. Anthony Davis had an A+ game. LeBron had like a B- game. Those are probably going to even up closer to B+, A- for both of those guys, and so that's going to be, as my guy Nate Jones says. You know Nate Jones. He calls it "damn it time." That's damn it time for the Warriors if both of those guys are playing at a high level.
Yeah. Another one is, what the hell happened to GP2, man? He feels not GP2 like these past, I don't know, now 2 games.
They don't guard him. They don't guard him on offense, and there is not a dominant guard on the other side. Like, Russell's going to play well, but Russell's going to be Russell kind of no matter who guards him. And if he's not, then they'll pull him out of the game and they'll go a lot more Schroeder. But there's no, if GP was a little bit bigger, then you stick him on LeBron and you deal with the lack of offense. But I don't know if he has a guy in this series. Like, there's no De'Aaron Fox on the other side that they need to slow down, or Malik Monk that they need to slow down. The Lakers guards are more just, they're more additive than they are substantial parts of the offense. Clay, it's probably going to be a good series for Clay because he's not going to have to run around guarding, all those quick guards. And the Lakers guards and wings are a little bit longer and maybe not as athletic. So I think it'll be fine for Clay defensively, probably fine for Steph defensively. But yeah, GP may not have really a guy to guard. So that was going to be my last takeaway, which is they may have to prioritize for offense here, which means less GP, maybe more Moses Moody, because they need somebody who's going to shoot. DiVincenzo has all of a sudden in this playoffs just not wanted to put up a shot, which is going to keep him on the bench. So that's just how Kerr is going to play that. If Moody gets all of those GP minutes, maybe he can score some points and be of value there. And then your Kuminga pick, but is like Kuminga's, the worry of Kuminga's, like, they sag off of him too, and then he tries to force the action, which usually leads to turnovers. If you can get him to play in a patient way, which is not his game and that is not his strength, maybe. But Kerr didn't even go to him once, which was kind of befuddling, because you kind of want to give the kid an opportunity to get some rep, because you're going to need him probably. And they didn't go to him once. So that was very, very interesting. I mean, to bring JaMychal Green off the bench,
That was wild.
that guy
Twice. He got 2 stints.
That guy had, he didn't even barely play at the end of the season. Remember, he got sick and
Yeah,
he
he
was
got like
trying
staph infection.
and then he was like completely out of the rotation, and Kuminga and Moody were in the rotation.
No,
So
I was telling my friends, I was like, I cannot remember the last time JaMychal Green came in twice. Like, once he would come in and hit the bench, he was done. He came in twice.
Yeah. So let's look at player of the game. I think it's Davis for the Lakers side. And if you have a Warriors player of the game, Steph had a good fourth quarter.
Poole or Looney, right?
I think it's got to be Poole. You had to pull Looney off the court because he was grabbing boards, but he wasn't able to finish, and he wasn't able to stand up with Davis. So Davis was the best player on the court tonight to me. For the Warriors, I think it's Poole, and that's an interesting one because he was not any of that in the first round. So maybe that's a good thing. But you also, I mean, it's not, you had some bad Poole there. He pulled up from like 35 feet as if this was the series to heat check. And then the defining shot of the game for the Warriors, they're down 3. They come all the way back. Were they down 2 or were they down 3 when he missed his 3? They were down 3, right?
Jordan?
Yeah.
They were down 3.
And he's got about 10 feet of space to shoot the basketball. And he shoots it where he caught it rather than taking a dribble and step in, and he missed. He wasn't good on defense. There were a couple moments where D'Angelo Russell was going right to the key finger roll, and Jordan's involved in that mix, and he's kind of running back like with his hands up. So he wasn't perfect, but I thought offensively, he got buckets when they needed buckets. He was courageously going to the bucket when a lot of those guys weren't. They were just like, nope, this is not what I'm doing today. So I'd
All
go
right,
with Jordan on the Warriors side.
I got the lineup stuff. So the starting lineup, 13 minutes -5, fast 5, 7 minutes +7.
Yeah.
It felt like it.
And it's small sample size. So it's not like you can just go, we got to play the fast five, the all, 35-minute. No, it's just not
No,
how it
no.
works.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a trigger for them for the.
And the starting lineup without Draymond, but with Poole +4. Yeah, remember, I don't want to. That is something though that I was saying with it's just I think when we were gonna get GP2, it was just okay. If you look at last year's playoff roster, the amount of non-shooters they had on the team, they got substantial minutes in the playoffs. It was just Draymond, Looney, and GP2.
Mm-hmm.
And now it just feels like, you can't afford another non-shooter right now. Like it's if you play Kuminga, then like GP2's like gotta not play, or like you gotta like split their minutes or something, where because I just think that having two non-shooters against this team is just not gonna bode well for you. That I think you might have to have, only one on the court. We'll see as more games get played, but that's definitely something it felt like, was that you can't afford two non-shooters because they're just not going to guard them, and that we're not taking advantage of AD's backed up in the paint on Draymond, just like how Looney was on Sabonis. And Draymond's gotta, the reason you can't leave Draymond wide open is because he's just gonna dribble handoff with Steph and just set a screen on his guy, and Steph's gonna be wide open. But it just felt like, sometimes that happened, and sometimes it just kind of felt like Draymond was out there. So I think you gotta have, the Warriors will find a way. I have complete faith in this team. I thought they'd lose the first game. I thought they'd win in 6. It's still that energy and momentum.
So you're calling 4 out of 5 out of the gate.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I said on the podcast too. So, yeah.
All right. Do you want to own up to this tweet here that you had? You want to see Vanderbilt shoot some corner threes so he could qualify for our butt cheek moment of the game. He was awful, but he did make one. He made one late when they needed him to make one.
He wasn't awful. Like, are you just saying from 3 he was awful?
Well, he was 1 of 3 from 3 and 2 of 7 from the floor.
Yeah, offensively he wasn't. He was the game high plus minus though, huh?
He was +8, and they decided to pull him out for a lot of the game.
And that's when the comeback happened.
Well, you know what's interesting about Darvin Ham? He plays Schroeder a lot. I get it. Schroeder's a guy. Schroeder was 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Like Schroeder was he was good today. But Rui Hachimura, he came out, and I was like, oh man, this guy's not afraid, and he's getting stuff offensively and defensively. He didn't even play in the second half, and Vanderbilt plays 25 minutes, and they pull him out, and I guess that's part of their rotation, the way that they play their fourth quarters. But I was like, man, when Vanderbilt's out of the game, I was happy. LeBron played 40 minutes. Anthony Davis played almost 44 minutes. Austin Reeves played 38. So this is going to be a heavy minutes game for the top players, and we'll see who lasts, right? Who's gonna be the team who is standing at the end, because it's going to be a battle of attrition in some instances too. But I thought the minutes were interesting, just the rotations. I've heard from Laker fans, because I have a lot of friends who are Laker fans who don't really like the rotations, and I could see why, based on how the Warriors were able to come back. I think Darvin Ham probably could have prevented some of that if he made some adjustments a little earlier. But hey, that's also part of this, right? You have Steve Kerr, who is a 4-time champion, versus Darvin Ham, who's a rookie head coach, and they're going to have to figure those things out too, because what are some of the like gut check reactions that Kerr has that sometimes is helpful? And, Ham's going to have to learn from certain things, just the reps of being in the playoffs. So I think that's an advantage of Warriors. And I kind of hope that Ham keeps playing the fourth quarters these ways, because I think the Warriors will be able to win some of these fourth quarters if those are what the substitution patterns are going to be.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think that stuff like that definitely matters. Yeah, I like I just think that Kuminga needs a shot. I think he just needs a couple minutes. I thought that there was like a possession. There was a few possessions where I think they were just trying to get Wiggins extra rest, and you just had like Kerr was just comfortable playing GP2 on LeBron. And I was just like, ooh, like you just don't want to play Kuminga this badly right now that GP2 is getting a shot at LeBron. I think LeBron scored, it's like GP2 is great, but that's just outsized. There's nothing he can do about that.
He's too small.
He's too small.
He did dunk over LeBron and scratch his head one time.
He did. He's super athletic. I'll give him that. I love GP2, but yeah. What else what was some of my tweets, man? I thought those I said, he played in that small ball lineup where Jordan Poole was playing. I think that could potentially, like I said, I think it's that third guy. That third guy is going to get open shots. The Lakers don't trust them yet. They have to earn that respect. And I don't know if Poole earned their respect tonight or if he's just going to keep getting those types of looks. Or keep getting those types of assignments where it's like just D'Lo on him every single time and he's just going to cook. That's what I thought was interesting. In the beginning of the season or during this season, defenses like adjusted to Jordan Poole. You have more film on him, so you know his moves and you know how to counter that. And when Steph went out, you're getting everyone's best defensive guard defender on Poole every single night, and Poole had to deal with all that pressure of being the lead guard that guys are trying to stop every night. You play some of like the Raptors, and OG Anunoby is probably on Jordan Poole, right? Because Steph was out for the majority of the year. And I think that this bodes well for Jordan coming into this series. Now that Steph is back, and you can make the same argument for the Kings series, and he just didn't really take advantage of that. The Kings played some really interesting defense that bad defenders felt like good defenders. But anyways, but this series, every time Steph's in, he's getting Vanderbilt or he's getting Schroeder. That means Jordan's getting D'Lo.
Yep.
So, I just think he just that whoever's on that needs to take advantage of it, because you can't convince, like D'Lo can't trick anyone. Like I feel like Malik Monk, because he's so athletic and so fast, was able to trick people. D'Lo can't trick anyone. Like he's just genuinely a bad defender.
And this is why they paid Jordan. This is why they paid him, because in a series where the entire goal is to take out one of Steph and Clay, who's going to step up?
Yeah.
Not going to be Draymond. Wiggins can do it in some ways, but he's not really going to do it in the way that Steph and Clay do it. And it's got to be Jordan, unless you can get something out of Moses Moody. Like, I would just tell Moses, like, dude, if you see your shot, just shoot it. He's athletic. He crashes boards. The problem with Kuminga, and we can end on this. The problem with Kuminga, I don't think Kerr believes he can wait out the mistakes. And if you think about it,
it's a good point.
If Jonathan does, so he'll do it for Clay. I don't know if you saw this, but Clay, I think Clay forgot they were playing zone. And someone had to yell at him and grab him and physically push him into the right area. Jordan did that with somebody else too. It might have been Wiggins. I think Wiggins forgot and he thought they were playing man. And Jordan actually went over and grabbed Wiggins and pushed him. So there are those brain farts, which if you're a vet and you're just a big part of this, like he's going to forgive. But if Kuminga did that, he would have got yanked really quickly. So I don't think Steve probably thinks he can live with those mistakes. And I would give Moody a little bit more slack too, because, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with Moody taking those GP3 wide open 3-pointers? I am.
Calling him GP3.
GP2. CP3 and GP2.
GP2 would lock CP3.
Especially with a bad groin.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with it. I think Moody needs needs more of those spots. I think that's going to be a common recurring theme in this series is that just try to limit the amount of non-shooters you have on the court.
So we'll end here, but you have any thoughts on the other series going on? Philadelphia beats Boston and they don't have Embiid, and they're probably not going to have Embiid at least in the next game and maybe even more. I mean, they're not going to win that series without him, but that was kind of interesting.
That was interesting. I need to I honestly only got a chance to watch the fourth quarter, and it just felt like, the momentum or people were already like warmed up, like Harden was already cooking. So it just felt like, I didn't get to see how he got to that moment, but I got to rewatch that one. There's no way Boston loses. And if
No,
so,
I
it
don't
just
think so.
continues to prove my point. Like, this is wide open.
Well, Knicks and Heat, they're tied now. I guess the Knicks came back. I saw the Heat were actually winning.
They were up, yeah.
And then the Knicks came back with no Jimmy Butler, so hopefully he'll be back soon. And then on the other side, Denver is working. The Suns, and it could be a sweep. It might be a sweep.
Oh, what's your saying that you took from, I forgot, you got it from someone, but the series doesn't start until a team wins a road game. So
yeah, that's a age-old adage. I don't know. I think the Suns are done. If CP's not playing,
I just think there's a lot of implications that comes with the Suns like leaving on these terms that I just can't imagine them getting swept. Like, I think this is their best year to win a championship, unless they I think the move is probably getting rid of CP for someone, whether it's bringing in Kyrie Irving. I don't think that.
Maybe you have Booker run the team and you bring in another shooter, another wing to play in the backcourt with him. Like maybe he runs a lot of one. But Shelvin, who's a Suns fan, he thinks that they're done because just more so for bench reasons.
Yeah, the depth isn't there, but it's just you make that type of move, and on paper, just I don't know, just looking at some of the other CPs not getting younger. DeAndre Ayton seems to not give a hell about,
what is his deal?
I don't know.
That's your boy.
That is my guy. He kind of feels like he had like that Dwight Howard type of mentality.
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't Dwight Howard kind of have some of that like nonchalant,
yeah,
about getting better? He was just so physically gifted. Doesn't take it seriously.
I mean, maybe he takes it seriously, but he just doesn't want people to know that he takes it seriously, which might be even worse. It's an immaturity for sure.
People bag on my guy Ayton for playing video games, man. Everyone has their own type of like mental therapy, and
it's better than going to the club.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I just feel like on paper, this is like their best opportunity to go get a championship. It's like,
they need to hold, they definitely need to hold court. When they don't play again until when?
Is it not tomorrow? Oh, well, they got to go to Phoenix. So probably, I don't know, Friday.
So the Wednesday games are Boston.
So they got to play Thursday, right?
76ers, yeah. So no, they don't play again until Friday.
Oh, wow.
And it's because these other series is.
That would be a full circle moment, though, if the Suns were able to, or if the Nuggets were able to beat the Suns in 4. Because you remember the picture with the guy, Suns in 4, that was against the Denver Nuggets. And now I heard the Nuggets doing a chant to end the game 2. Nugs in 4. I was like, oh, this is great theater.
Yeah, the 76ers and Celtics play twice, and the Warriors and the Lakers play twice before Denver and Phoenix plays again. It's kind of weird. All right, we'll be back hopefully this weekend. We're not going to be back on Thursday. Thursday's too crazy of a night for me because I have to do another podcast. But we'll be back hopefully Saturday. Maybe Sunday if we can't get Saturday. We'll at least do one show this weekend. And the series is going to be tough. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of battle of attrition. It's not going to be as fantastic, high scoring, crazy scoring like the last one. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot more reminiscent of that. The first and second final series is against Cleveland, where every game just felt like a fight. I think there's going to be a lot more of that. So we'll see what happens. But the last time we recorded after a Warriors loss, and then we didn't record again, and we came back and they were winning. So maybe that's good luck for us. All right. So we'll be back this weekend with another episode of the Death Lineup. Lakers win 117-112. They go up 1-0 in the Western Conference semifinals, game 2, Thursday night. So for Bri, I am Double G. We'll see you when we see you. Peace out.